Brookville Equipment Corporation is a leading American manufacturer of locomotive, streetcar, and mining machinery. For over 100 years, Brookville has been a world-class manufacturer with innovation, quality engineering, product safety, and expert American craftsmanship. Every piece of equipment is designed and built entirely in our facility in Brookville, Pennsylvania. Join our team. Brookville is a family-owned business. We offer competitive wages, opportunities for growth, and outstanding benefits. Click the Now Hiring button on our website at brookvillecorp.com for current openings.
Attention, attention! Beverage Air Victory in Brookville is hiring. If you're looking for a great place to work with a good starting wage and advancement opportunities, this may be the place for you. We have immediate openings for all shifts, including part-time and weekends. Beverage Air Victory has a generous benefits package, including 401k and paid time off. No experience necessary. We will train you. Have experience? We will pay you more. Come join our team by applying online at beverage-air.com.
Locally owned and operated, Hager Paving of Strattonville provides a range of services: hot mix asphalt, cold patch asphalt, tar and chipping, and seal coating. Hager Paving's reputation in business is based on customer service, referrals, and your satisfaction. Serving residential, commercial, industrial, and local municipalities throughout Western Pennsylvania, exceptional service, exceptional quality. That's Hager Paving of Strattonville. Call 814-764-5080. That's 814-764-5080 for Hager Paving.
Brookville Equipment Corporation is a leading
Maybe if I turned on the mic, you could hear me. There we go. Welcome to the forum, everybody. We're glad you're here. Glad to be here in Haskell House for the political forum hosted by exploreClarion.com. My name is Gavin Fish. I am the moderator for tonight. And just to introduce myself a little bit, I am from Venango County. So I have no horse in this race, which I think is the reason that I was invited to do this. But we're glad to have 5 candidates for commissioner here in Clarion County. Will you please join me in welcoming our 5 candidates? Thank you all for being here. I think I'm just going to take a moment to explain the format of the forum so that we all understand. We've done our best to make this whole process as simple and as unbiased as possible. So we have a couple of rules that we're going to ask everybody to abide by. This is not news to the candidates, but I thought that I would just bring this up. We're going to give each candidate 2 minutes to make an opening statement, followed by questions that have been submitted either online or in person tonight. What I'm going to do is I have a few questions that I'll use to open the forum tonight, but after that, we're going to go with submitted questions, and in order to make it fair and completely random, I'm going to ask members of the audience to select from the box at this timer table and bring me up a question. When a question is asked, we are going to give everybody an option. Well, the person that I asked the question to directly will have a minute to answer that question, and then everybody else can answer the question as well. They'll each get 30 seconds to answer, and if there are any rebuttals that need to happen, that will kind of be up to my judgment, and we'll give you 30 seconds to rebut, okay? If that is even a word. For your rebuttal, let's say that. And then when we get to the end of our program tonight, we'll have 2 minutes for each candidate to offer a closing statement. Okay? So we are going to start with a couple of easy questions. I'm going to start with Commissioner Brocious.
What about our opening statements?
See, I just explained the rules. All right. Turn the time over to Commissioner Brocious for your opening statement.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Fish. Appreciate it. I'd like to thank EYT Media and everyone who is listening in tonight. I'm going to start by talking a little bit about qualifications. When you interview a candidate for a job, if you are an employer and you folks as the citizens are the employer at this point looking for candidates to fill the job, one thing that anybody that does an interview is looking for is one of the number one things is experience. And who up here actually has experience as a commissioner already? Only 2 of us, Mr. Theron and myself. One other is the Ted and myself. So you have someone who has been vetted, somebody who's reasonable, fair. Talking about myself, served on dozens of boards, dealing with all aspects of the county, everything from human services to transportation to emergency services. I was also elected at one time as the president of the Northwest County Commissioners Association. That was me being elected by other commissioners all across the entire Northwest Pennsylvania region. So you want someone in this job with management skills. We manage, with the exception of some other elected officials, the managers of the county, and we budget the money for all of the different county departments. I also want to mention that I have Clarion County values. I stand up for the taxpayer and the residents of the county and represent them with a professional image and integrity. And commissioner is mostly, in several ways, an administrative job and not creating laws, so experience on the job is very, very important.
Thank you, Commissioner. Right on time. Mr. Fight.
Good evening. I'm Brady Fight, and I encourage you to join the good fight. It's a pleasure to share the stage with so many who care about the same county in which I've been a lifelong resident. I'm from St. Petersburg, an AC Valley graduate, a CCA graduate. By trade, I'm a unionized heavy equipment operator with Local 66. A big thanks to exploreClarion and the audience for showing an interest in your support in local politics. Unlike most everyone else up here, I don't have a decade of experience in politics. I don't look at our community through a politician's eyes. However, I do have experience. Experience as an elected school board member at AC Valley, where I, along with 8 other board members, oversee a workforce of 80+ individuals while maintaining and developing a $15 million budget each year. Experience that will help me become a successful county commissioner. Experience from my time serving on the Clarion County Career Center JOC board that requires me to assist and oversee a multi-million-dollar budget each year along with a large workforce. I also have real-world experience in managing a crew of men and women that traveled around the tri-state area producing professional-level motorsport events for various racetracks, fairs, and other venues. This gave me experience in dealing with a wide range of individuals and opinions. It takes time and perseverance to develop and execute a plan in order to successfully complete the agreed-upon contracts to ensure a successful event for the various clients. For the past 5 years, I've been a 4-H volunteer, helping and mentoring youth in robotics and leadership, and I've seen firsthand what the youth are capable of. I feel that with the right leadership in Clarion County, together, we can make Clarion County the best it could possibly be. As you can tell, I fight for the little guys, the up-and-coming generations of our county who have already accomplished so much. So please, join the good fight with Brady Fight.
Thank you, Mr. Fight. Commissioner Theron.
Thank you. You turn this on, is it on? It's on. Okay, good. Okay, thank you to all that came tonight. Thanks to Explore for hosting the event in this beautiful building that has been restored. It's really nice. I would like to tell you about a smart asset report that names Clarion County #1 in the state of Pennsylvania for the best value for your tax dollars. 67 counties in the state of Pennsylvania, Clarion County is #1. That does not just happen. It takes good leadership and it takes forward thinking. So that's one thing that's really nice about this county. Okay. 8 years ago, when I first ran for office, I told you that I would run the county like a business. I would find a waste and eliminate the waste. I have done that and eliminated over $2 to $3 million worth of waste that was in the county that is saving the taxpayer money. Clarion County is a $22 million a year service business. You have to run it like a business. You have to be responsible to the taxpayers because you're guarding their money. I've accomplished many things without raising your taxes and without borrowing any money. I've heard some people say we need a change. Tell us what that change is that you want. Everybody running for commissioner should tell us what their vision is for the county, what changes they want to make, how they want to make them, how they're going to pay for them, and what benefit is it to the taxpayer. Do you want to change and go back to the tax and spend, or do you want to stay where you're at, be the watchdog of the county, and look for the waste? I can't see the clock, so I don't know how much.
We're out of time.
We're out of time.
Thank you very much. There we go. Sorry, we're experiencing some technical difficulties there. Mr. White?
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Braxton White, and I'm a candidate for county commissioner. I was raised by my great-grandparents. My grandfather was a graduate of Clarion University. He was a minister, a World War II veteran, but he was also the hero who stepped up to raise me and give me a chance. His example taught me how to be a good husband to my high school sweetheart, a loving father to my son, and a steward of our country and our community. Through my time in the Pennsylvania Army National Guard, my 2 terms on the Clarion Area School Board, and supporting the causes that uphold the rural values of our community, I am so proud that I made service a cornerstone of my adult life. I absolutely love that Clarion County is my home. We have tons of great people doing great things to make their towns better places to work and live because we care about each other so much. And I can't think of a better example right now than how we all came together when Bob's sub burnt down. It's part of what makes us special. But we're at a crossroads here in Clarion County, and it's not just because we're going to be electing at least one new county commissioner on November 7th. We've got issues dealing with population decline, blighted properties, funding crisis for our emergency services. We're the 9th poorest county in the state. Our workforce isn't trained enough for the blue-collar jobs, which we're so fortunate to have come to town. And the university that's made us a staple in Western Pennsylvania is facing a lot of uncertainty. My point is that we need to address the problems of today, but we also have to be ready to address the problems we don't know about yet. To handle the issues of today and tomorrow, our leadership has to listen, it has to treat folks as their equals, it has to empower the people around them, and it can't be a rubber stamp. And I am prepared to be that leader for the next generation of Clarion County.
Thank you very much. Mr. Wise.
Hello, hopefully everyone can hear me standing up. I like to speak better standing up, but my name's Kirk Wise, and I'm having a little bit of deja vu because I've been here before 4 years ago running in the Republican primary, and nothing's really changed. I think that I have a duty to run for Clarion County to bring my unique skills to the mix of Clarion County, and I commend the commissioners for some of the things that they have done, and I agree with many of them because I'm a staunch conservative Republican Second Amendment advocate, and I'm also very frugal. So I'm not someone that's going to take the county in wild directions, spending the money willy-nilly. Being a commissioner and having the duty and the mandate to manage the county requires that you balance the taxpayers' interests with, and things that they need, with the taxpayers' dollars. And having paid taxes for many, many years, I'm 59 now, believe me, that's not something that we're at somewhere where I even want to go. But my main goal in this is the world's changing. As much as we like to pretend it isn't, it is. The new workforce and the kids of the next generation and younger generation have different expectations for work, and there are different industries that they're interested in working in. They may not want to work in the industries of yesteryear. Those sorts of things need to continue, but I think we need to look forward towards high technology because that's where the future is. And as far as things like the economy goes, I'm the only one up here that completely understands the new economy as far as blockchain and distributed ledger technology. I've been in that since 2010, and everything is going to go into blockchains, friend. Everything is technology, and I'm a technology expert. So be smart, vote wise.
Thank you, Mr. Wise. Okay, the first question that I have for you, I'm going to start with Mr. Brocious and then give everybody an opportunity to respond if you wish. How will you address the concerns of our county's ambulance service?
60 seconds.
Correct.
Okay. This is something that we are already looking at and addressing. This problem is mainly a municipality issue because they are the ones that have the power to tax and create fees for this service. But the county has taken a leadership position on that with our EMA director, Jeff Smathers. And we have created a task force to get the municipalities together, bring in ideas that some other counties are using. There's a possibility of creating an authority in the future, an idea that we have been out there floating. So we are working on this with the restrictions that are placed on the county commissioners to deal with the subject like this.
What do you mean? Mr. Theron, 30 seconds.
Right there, folks, 25 cents. That's what it costs a day per family for the authority that we presented to the townships and the boroughs to try to implement after the model in Ross Township, Westview, down by Pittsburgh, 25 cents a day. So when you pick this up to call for the ambulance, it comes. If you don't spend that quarter a day, there's coming a time where you will not have an ambulance.
Thank you, Mr. Theron. Would anybody else like to respond? Mr. Fike?
So one of the things I'd like to do is introduce a property tax credit for EMS members within the county. It's not a fix-all solution, but it's definitely a start. The issue I see with the authority that was presented by the commissioners is some of these small municipalities and boroughs within the county simply can't afford the attorney's fees to create this authority. The secretaries that are employed at the borough are part-time. They don't have the time and dedication to put into it to creating this authority, nor the financial resources.
Thank you, Mr. Fike. Mr. Wise?
Yeah, I'm aware of some of the things the county is doing, and I'm happy because I think it's in the right direction. I certainly agree with Ted, a quarter a day. We've got to do something to help keep the continuity of our EMS services. And there's other things besides the central authority. There's also councils of government that can be formed between municipalities. I take care of radios, 911 systems, and everything over Northwest PA. I've been doing it for 35 years. And believe me, I talk to everyone. And I've been talking to a lot of people in Erie about that same thing.
Thank you, Mr. Wise. Yes. Mr. White?
Are we going to get 1 minute to answer that initial question?
30 seconds to answer.
Okay. I think we're kind of doing a back and forth. Is it going to be a municipal authority fee? Is it going to be a tax? Like at the end of the day, this is all money that's going to come out of our pockets. And I think we already have a mechanism to generate those funds. I think we have a thing, we have property taxes. The municipalities are able to do that $500,000 increase. And after this reassessment's done, that $500,000 increase is going to be able to generate a lot more funds than we're talking about now. I'd also like to see the county matching that $500,000 if municipalities are going to take that up.
Thank you very much. The next question I have, starting with Mr. Fite, speaking of taxes, property taxes in Pennsylvania are a burden on taxpayers and on business owners. What will you do as a commissioner to reduce burdens on taxpayers, business owners?
So one of the things, like I said earlier, I'd like to introduce a property tax credit for fire and EMS members within the county. It's a good way to give back to your community that you live in, and it's also a possible solution to help abide the issue that we are lacking volunteer firefighters and EMS personnel within the county right now. I mean, when you pick up the phone and call 911, you need somebody to get there, somebody from within your community, not 3 or 4 boroughs over that might get there after they get a crew gathered up. So hopefully by introducing that'll entice some new members to join and serve the community, as well as a break for property taxes as well.
Thank you, Mr. Fite. Would anybody like to respond or add?
Sure.
Mr. White?
Yeah, so I've been on a school district for 6 years now on a school board, and I have not voted to increase anybody's taxes in 6 years. We have some of the highest paid teachers in the county. We have stable administration. I'm very proud of all of that, and that's because of how aggressively we've gone after grants. And in today's government, that's how you have to do things, to grow things, to expand things, is through going after grants. And so that is what I would suggest that we do.
Can I respond?
Mr. Theron?
Also, we've already looked at Mr. Fite's tax or credit for the fire department, and it's very hard to administer. Who do you determine who gets what? What if a fireman rents his house? Does he get a property tax credit? We figured it out that 400 and some firemen in the county, that's $100,000 the county would spend on that. Where do we get that money? That's $1/3 of taxes.
Mr. Fry, would you like to respond to him?
So it would have to go off of, you'd have to talk to the different fire department chiefs and individuals who are in charge of the department. It'd have to be for only active personnel. You couldn't join the department just to get a property tax credit. You'd have to be active. You'd have to respond to X percentages of calls throughout the year, participate in X amount of training nights, and be actively involved and show an interest in it. This is a way to give back to your community with an added bonus of a potential property tax credit. You should go in it with the mindset to serve your community and better your community, not just to get a tax break out of it.
Mr. Brocious?
Who determines who gets it, who polices it, like Ted said. But the question was, how will you keep taxes low? And I take that question as for everyone. Mr. Theron, myself, and Mr. Heasley have already reduced taxes on county residents. 2 years ago, we voted to decrease taxes from the county. So that speaks volumes.
Mr. Wise.
I have a dream of lowering taxes, and I think Commissioner Brocious may be talking about the 0.5% off the 1.5% county debt tax. I'd like to eliminate the tax and just pay the county debt off with county operations. I'm really big about efficiency. I'm really big about solving problems. I solve complex problems, and although I don't have any experience as a commissioner, all first-time commissioners don't, but I have a lot of experience in solving problems.
Thank you. With that, we're going to take a commercial break. We're going to take about a 3-minute break here. We'll be back in 3 minutes.
No matter how cold it is outside, you can keep warm and toasty inside with a built-in-the-USA super efficient furnace from Luton's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Affordable, quiet, and reliable. You can count on your furnace from Luton's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Throughout West Central Pennsylvania, people are losing their glasses. Well, they haven't really lost them. They just don't need them anymore. Thanks to the amazing LASIK surgeons at Laurel Eye Clinic. Call Laurel Eye Clinic and schedule your free consultation.
With so much to protect each day, Eric Schick Insurance and Financial Services is here to help you find the right coverage that fits your life. Call 814-275-2210 to learn more.
Hi, my name is Jason, and welcome to Sweet Basil. Come on in.
You can afford a gorgeous, custom-designed hardwood Kale's Kitchen for a lot less than you'd pay at a DIY store. Go to FactoryDirectKitchens.net. At Kale's, there are never middleman markups or hidden charges that can add 40%. Go to FactoryDirectKitchens.net. That's FactoryDirectKitchens.net. You can afford it.
We're back. Thank you very much. We're glad to be back with our 5 candidates for Clarion County Commissioner. We're now going to take some questions that were given to us here live by the audience and also online. Can I get a volunteer from the audience to bring me a question out of the question box? Yes, young man. Thank you very much.
It's my boy.
How did you know that? Name's on the shirt.
Nice. Mr. Theron, I believe it's your turn to take the question. Will you be able to stand up to someone who pushes goals that you are not on board with?
I do that every day. In this job, you cannot be afraid to say no. You're not everybody's friend, you're their boss. You work for the taxpayer. You do not work for other elected officials. You do not work for the employees. You make a good place for the employees to work, and you pay them well. We gave very, very lucrative raises this year because of inflation, because of the pandemic. But you got to be able to say no to somebody, because if you don't, they'll walk all over you.
Anybody like to respond or add anything to that? Mr. Fife?
Sure. So definitely you have to listen to the constituents of the county, you have to listen to your taxpayers, and you have to do your homework and research on items, every single item that comes across the agenda to vote on. There's been numerous times in the school board that I've been the lone wolf that's voted against something because I either don't believe in it, I don't believe it's going to harm, I don't think it's going to do any good, or the constituents that voice their concerns were totally against the idea. So regardless of the person or the individual, you have to have a clear mind and a clear conscience and do the right thing for the right purpose.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Brocious.
Question was, can you stand up? And the answer is yes.
Mr. White.
So, I mean, it's not just about standing up, and we shouldn't do this as if the people on this stage are our adversaries. I mean, yeah, we should have our values, and we need to voice those and stand up. But anybody up here that tells them that every single idea they have is the best idea in the world, they're lying to you, and myself included. You know, we need to be doing this together. This is a collaborative thing. This is 3 commissioners working together. So we have to have the ability to disagree with each other without being disagreeable.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Wise.
And it almost sounds like that's an external person coming up trying to put their agenda onto you and trying to force you to do something. Absolutely not, because I hate that sort of thing. I want to be commissioner without an agenda. My only agenda is the people's agenda to try to balance what's right and conduct myself and conduct county business in a way which is beyond any reasonable reproach, and that requires truth.
Thank you very much. Okay, time for the next question. Anybody like to bring one up to me? I guess I can hop on Shank's pony myself. All right. Mr. White, I believe this question is for you. To start, how can commissioners encourage building and development?
Sure. So, I mean, one of the things that I see the county doing right now through the Clarion County Development or Economic Development Agency is working to revitalize some of our main streets, and just being supportive of initiatives like that. I mean, if we're trying to not only bring in new jobs, and I'm not someone that's going to sit here and tell you that we have too many jobs or that's a bad thing. I think we have jobs that we need to train people for. But if we're trying to bring new jobs in, if we're trying to support the small businesses that already exist, part of that has got to be trying to build up our main streets again. And we see a lot of efforts going on right now with the Economic Development Corps.
Thank you very much. Mr. Theron, you'd like to respond?
Yes, I would. Over the last 5 years, we've hired Delaware Development to come in and write grants for Clarion County. They have gotten us over $15 million in grants that helped Gray Star and Knox, the emergency room at the Clarion Hospital, numerous other places. You have Lewis Lumber out here. I've been a member of the Economic Development Council or board for the last 7 years. A lot of good things have happened. A lot of jobs have come to Clarion because of the things that have been done here.
Thank you, sir. Would anybody else like to add your thoughts? Mr. Brocious?
Yeah, I was going to mention the grants also, but Ted already did, so that's good. The only other thing, the main thing I wanted to focus on was you have to be positive about this county. Nothing drives me crazier than when I'm out in the public and I hear people talking about how bad it is here and how there's nothing here. There is. We have a lot to offer in this county. So as a commissioner, like I was talking to somebody yesterday on their front porch, and I was trying to get this lady to turn it around positively, and by the end of the conversation she was. So she was a lot more optimistic.
Mr. Fry.
Sure. So on the developing the county, we have to fulfill the job openings we have currently right now. We have to educate some individuals in the area that there are good jobs here in the county, but we need to fulfill them first if we want to entice new businesses to the area. And going out and seeking business is something that would work very well with other industries that we have in our area right now, and also some stuff that would diversify us, that would make us special and on the map. We have Interstate 80 running from one end of the county to the other. I think we really need to hone in and use that to our advantage here in the county.
Mr. Wise.
Yeah, I think grants are a wonderful thing, and that is something that can really enhance county businesses. But also, something that just kind of comes into my head is have new jobs, new people will come, okay? New technology, new things. And we can go to an extent and really look at new trends and where society is going, what the younger workforce expects and requires of their job, and things along that line to expand even beyond where we are now.
Thank you. Let's see, is it Mr. Wise's turn? I've lost count.
Yes.
All right. Mr. Wise, what element of a county government is most effective and why?
What element of a county government is most effective? I'm going to put a twist on that. You might say it's the commissioners because they're the administrators and they have the mandates to oversee the county. You might say it's any single row worker that is in any office. You may say it's the judicial part of the county, but something tells me the right attitude to have is it's the people that are in the county. And that's only if you let those people participate and you listen to them. You don't want to be railroaded or convinced of this or that from any group from the left or the right, but wisdom comes through a multitude of counselors. And I know if I'm commissioner, one of the things I want to do is I want to get the county involved, because I don't just want to be a commissioner. I want to be a commissioner from the people. So that's how I would phrase that question. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Would anybody else like to? Mr. Fight?
Sure. One of the most important elements in the county is talking with your workforce and the individuals who are down in the trenches working in that specific office or department every single day. As a commissioner, you oversee a ton of different items throughout the county. So you have to be knowledgeable in everything, but when it comes time to making decisions for a specific department, you need to talk to the people that work there, because they're going to understand it the best. Just because something looks good on paper doesn't mean it's going to be great once you put it into action. So talking with those individuals who work there every single day, that's going to be the best way to figure out your next route to go.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Brocious?
Could you repeat the question? Was that the county government or the county?
The question was, what element of a county government
That's what I
is
thought.
most effective and why?
Okay, so we're talking about the county government specifically, and it's hard to, I mean, I would hate to stand up here and say, or sit up here and say, which department in the county is the most important, because they're all important, all the functions that we do, everything from 911 dispatching, the emergency services, to CYS protecting the children of the county, to mental health, helping those with mental health issues, down to transportation, and the list goes on, the court system and everything.
Thank you very much. Would anybody else like to respond? Mr.
I
Thayer?
agree 100% with what Wayne said. There's a multitude of things that you have to do and the services that you have to provide. So there isn't one element of the county government that is more important than the other one. It is to their individual part. To the prison, their most important thing is keeping those people in behind bars. To the courts, it's putting them behind bars. So every part of the government is a different spoke in the wheel, and they all have to be there in order for that wheel to turn.
Thank you. Mr. White?
Yeah, I'm going to echo a little bit of what Kirk said. In the Army, they teach you that you're this one big team, and if someone in that team has a failure, we're all having a failure. And so I would say one of the strongest things we have, along with the people of this county, are all the people that we're working with, and just remembering that we're all in this together, we're all working together, and we should be doing the best that we can to empower them to make the wheels turn.
Thank you. That's going to lead us to our next commercial break, and we'll take a quick break and be right back.
Hey Julie, nice deck! Did you get that at Tio Nesta Builder Supply?
It's Tio Nesta Builder Supply, and yes, Dave, I did.
Wonder if they sell siding and roofing at Tio Nesta Builder Supply.
It's Tio Nesta, and yes, Tio Nesta Builder Supply has that too. Come on, Dave. You've never been there? They have 2 showrooms for anything home improvement. Mom got a custom kitchen there. Bill down the street got the materials for his garage. They have this awesome website, www.tionestabuilders.us. You can buy online. They really have everything for the home.
Wow! I'm heading over to Tio Nesta. I know. Tionesta Builders.
Tionesta Builder Supply Home Improvement Center, family owned and operated since 1958, with locations in Tionesta and Shippensville.
That sounds good. I'll check them out online at tionestabuilders.us.
Red Bank Chevrolet, the area's #1 Chevrolet dealer and Clarion County's truck headquarters. So if you're in the market for a new or used Chevrolet car, truck, or SUV, go to Red Bank Chevrolet, 500 Broad Street in New Bethlehem, or online redbankchevrolet.com. Skilled staff at Red Bank Chevrolet is ready to meet all of your automotive needs. If we don't see you today, we'll see you at Red Bank Chevrolet.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you, everybody, for those of you who are in the crowd. And thank you to the candidates for commissioner for being here. I think we're coming back over to this end of the table, Commissioner Brocious. The next question, randomly picked out of the question box, says this: What are your plans to bring jobs and shopping opportunities to the area? We have young people leaving the area to do no jobs, limited shopping, lack of internet access. Your thoughts?
Okay, obviously the economy is changing, so retail is not as big as it used to be because of the computer and because of the internet, which everybody is using. So this is the capitalist society that we live in. It's working all this out. We obviously have the Economic Development Corporation. They're out there fighting all the time to bring businesses in, and if businesses think they can do well in this area, they will be here. As far as internet, I think was also mentioned in the question. We are working on that right now. We have requests for proposals out right now for companies to help us build broadband throughout the county. There's a lot of money coming from the federal and state governments down, and we're being told Clarion County is well positioned to get a lot of that money.
Thank you. Any other thoughts? Commissioner Theron.
Yeah, I'd like to comment on that. And if you look down here at the mall, they're doing a very good job of bringing stores in. Maybe it's not the store you want, but at least they're filling up the mall. I mean, I know everybody wants a KFC, but I don't know they're going to come back. It's up to the private sector to determine whether or not they come to Clarion and build something. If there's people here, they will come here and build a business if it's successful. You don't go out in the middle of a field and build a business and expect people to come there. You have to be where the people are.
Thank you, sir. Mr. White.
Yeah, so as somebody that young person raising a family here in Clarion County, I think something that we need to be doing is investing some of this hotel tax money that we have. We have hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I'd like to see us using that to do things a little bit more creatively. Maybe there's some opportunities to invest in some private upstart businesses around the county. In that regard, I know there's other counties around that have done some things like that.
Mr. Wise?
I'm all about maker spaces and creativity like so many other more progressive states have. And that's mostly focused on science and high technology. And if you're going to bring people in, people of the new workforce, the new generation, you're going to have stuff like that. And you're also going to have entertainment and shopping and a certain amount of cultural activities for a beautification of the county. That's a big picture, but I think with vision, it can be done. And I'm a person with a lot of vision.
Mr. Fine?
Sure. So I'd like to continue to build upon the broadband and the high-speed internet that's happening in the county right now. Offer it to almost everybody, if not everybody in the county, to have access to it. Because if you can have access to high-speed internet, there are a ton of work-from-home jobs. You'd be more enticed to come into the area where you can live out and be with nature and still have your high-speed internet for work every day. I'd also like to possibly talk with businesses who are interested in our area and see what some things they'd like to see happen are and see what we can do to entice them to come into the area.
Thank you. I'd like to commend all of you for your time management. You're doing a really good job being respectful of one another. Thank you for that. Mr. Fite, it's your turn. If elected in November, what are your top 3 priorities as commissioner?
So my top priorities in the county would be introduce a property tax credit for fire and EMS members within the county to help build our 911 system, emergency management systems within the county. I'd also like to bridge the gap when juniors and seniors are co-op eligible and graduate high school to the job openings within the county. There are a lot of good job opportunities within the county here. I just don't think that individuals are aware of them. We don't have a ton of 100 employment opportunities, but we have quite a bit of 5, 10, 15, 20 employment opportunities here in the county, and that's really the backbone of it here. So just help to bridge that gap, whether it be in sign printing within the county, manufacturing within the county, different types of jobs. I'd like to elaborate on the Commodore homes and colony homes. You know, some people have a negative view towards it. There's a ton of potential there in that factory. You could get really skilled in a trade, whether it's HVAC, electricity, drywall, painting, not to mention the third-party contractors, such as the drivers, to deliver the homes, to inspect them, help set them up. So those are some things I'd like to work on.
Thank you. Would anybody like to share their thoughts? Anybody else on that? Mr.
I
Theron?
will. Yeah, I'm just not 100% sure that the property tax credit for the fire department workers is legal. It's something you could check out. I think there's got to be better ways to reward firemen for the job they do, whether it's a stipend, whether it's a payment of some sorts. But it would be a nightmare to try and do it through the assessment department and the property tax credit. And I just still am not sure if it's 100% legal to do that. And there's a lot of stuff that needs done. We'll get it done.
Thank you, Mr. Theron. Because you brought up the property tax credit, I'm going to give Mr. Fight an opportunity to respond.
So sure. So like I said earlier, there's going to have to be stipulations. You're going to have to be very actively involved within the department. And it is legal in Pennsylvania. Counties out in the eastern part of the state have introduced this and implemented it within their counties. And it's been successful so far as I understand. It's popular out in the Midwest too, where people are not as close together in towns where there's farmlands for miles on end. It's been introduced there and it's been working successfully as well.
Mr. Wise?
I'm one of those obsessive people. I read technical manuals and I memorize them and I pore over stock charts and I completely immerse myself in things. So my main focus and priority, and when I become commissioner, is to understand Clarion County completely. The pluses, the minuses, things that could be better, things that maybe have been worse, and work to change them. But the thing is, I will start doing that on May 17th if you elect me in the primary. I'm not going to wait until a new year.
Mr. Brocious, did you want to add your thoughts?
Yeah, 3 things. Help municipalities fix the EMS crisis, not bully them because that's not our job. Expand broadband, which we are working on currently, continue that, and try to get more money from the money that is going to be flowing soon. Pennsylvania just got another $200 million that will be going out to different counties. And other big thing is workforce in the county. A lot of this stuff depends on having an able workforce.
Mr. White?
Yeah, so the first thing obviously is going to be, to echo Wayne's point, work with the municipalities to find a good solution to address the emergency services funding crisis. I would also like to see an investment in training the workforce, whether that's collaboratively with the Career Center, where I was also on the board there for 3 years. That's a step we could do, but also I'd like to see us invest in some outdoor recreation with our tourism money through the hotel tax.
Thank you, sir. This next question is for you, Mr. Theron, Commissioner Theron. The question is, how can you as a potential commissioner better support local libraries?
We had this question last week. How can you help support local libraries? Well, we give them money every year. I think it's $30,000 that we gave them last year. But the bigger question is all these groups, what can they do to help themselves? Every time we give money out at the county level, we have to take it out of tax dollars. So you have all these different groups, the airport, everybody else that wants to take and have a handout. You have to come up with that money someplace. Now, if everybody here is willing to have their taxes raised, I'm all in favor of doubling everybody's stuff, but I know you don't want your taxes raised because they're high enough right now.
Mr. Fine?
Sure. So one of the first things I'd like to do is I'd like to talk with each librarian at each public library within the county, as well as the board that oversees the library as well, and see what their specific needs are. Because the needs are not going to be the same from Clarion to Reimersburg to Knox to Foxburg. They're all going to be different. So I want to see what their needs are. I want to see what grants are available and see what grants we can get to help them, and see what all they need in order to thrive.
Mr. Brocious.
There's already a Clarion County Library System board. I'm on that board, actually. I don't have time to tell you everything that we do, but as Ted says, the county funds that system. They distribute money to the individual libraries in the county, there are 5 of them, as they see fit. And it's people that have skin in the game, it's people that are involved in all the libraries that are on that board. In 30 seconds, that's all I can say.
Any other thoughts? Mr. White?
So, as I was saying earlier about grants, I mean, this is one of the best ways we can work to fund the libraries. As Brady was saying, we can go in, figure out what their needs are, and really go to bat for them on some of these grants. But I mean, beyond that, I keep hearing this thing that we can't invest in what we have unless we raise taxes. And that's not true. We can go after grants. We can choose how we're spending our money, but we can do nice things without raising taxes. I've done that for 6 years.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Wise, would you like to add anything?
Yeah, besides the money that the county already helps the library with, there's probably logistical aid, and there's probably aid as far as getting grants, and I know that's possible because as someone that started writing myself 5 years ago and being one of the founders of the literary organization, we rely heavily on grants and membership, and a lot of that's through public relations, a lot of that's through activities. And I think on a county level too, we can help that from our bully pulpit and from our resources.
Since he mentioned grants, do I get a response to that? Since I brought it
Sure.
up? When you get a grant, the grants are few and far between. We have hired professional grant writers to write grants for Clarion County. When you get a grant, 90% of the time there's a match to that grant. So it's not just a boatload of money to spend, you've got to match that grant.
Right.
With local tax dollars.
Right.
Thank you. Okay, the next question I believe is to Mr. White. How do you plan on helping to revitalize Main Street and specifically helping to bring new and exciting businesses to town?
I touched upon this earlier with the Clarion County Economic Development Group and their efforts to revitalize Main Street. I mean, you look at there's a group in Clarion that meets right now, and they've been doing a lot of work, and I think they've really kind of created a model here. You walk down Main Street, Clarion, during Christmas, you see all the beautiful lights and fixtures up everywhere. You see the potters they put in. All that stuff matters. I believe a lot in this idea of the broken window idea. You're walking down the street and you see a broken window on a building, and you're, maybe when you're a teenager making bad decisions, and someone's like, I'm going to throw a rock and break another window because you see that window that's already broken. But if you're walking down the street and you see some flowers that are there, maybe you're going to go home and plant some flowers too. So I think there's a lot behind that, and I would absolutely support every initiative to work on that.
Thank you, sir. Any other thoughts on that question?
Yeah, I would.
Mr.
And following up what Braxton said there, if you'll notice the courthouse and Veterans Park over the last several years, how much nicer it looks. Because we invested, took out the old shrubs and invested money in bark mound flowers every year, beautifying the courthouse, taking care of the park over here. So we're doing our part, but we can't do the businesses down Main Street. We are the county government, not Clarion Borough.
Any other thoughts? Mr. Brocious.
I agree with what Ted said, but we need entrepreneurs to do these things. It can't be the commissioners opening up businesses, but we can be supportive, obviously. And the question was pointed to Main Street in Clarion. Like Ted says, we're the county. There are other towns in the county that we also have to think about. It's not that I'm against Clarion, because Clarion is also a part of Clarion County, but we also have New Bethlehem, East Brady, and many, many other places that all this needs work on. So,
thank you, sir. Mr. Wise.
And I agree with a lot of what a lot of people said. And anyone that knows me knows I'm an entrepreneur at heart. And that's how I started out in my 20s, by starting to build industrial test equipment, even though I wasn't an engineer. But a lot of these things need encouraged, people with interesting ideas. And it doesn't all have to cost money. Sometimes it's just the attitude. Sometimes it's PR in getting people involved from what voice we do have as a county. And as a commissioner, that's one of the things I would be very good at.
Mr. Fight.
Sure, so definitely I think it's going to have to start at your local borough or municipality level and work its way up there. The county is in charge of the whole county, not just one specific town or borough. So if you have an idea, you bring it to the board comes to the commissioners and say, this is what we're thinking. The commissioners can either help you, point you in the right direction of where to get information from, utilize the county grant writers that we have, and sort of help you out with that. But like I said, the county commissioners are in charge of the whole county, not just one specific town.
Thank you. With that, we will take our next commercial break.
Dubrook, a division of M&B Group, is your trusted local ready-mix supplier for residential and commercial projects. Dubrook provides a full line of decorative concrete, as well as concrete supplies, along with a variety of concrete tools and accessories. Dubrook can provide services large or small for residential and commercial projects to contractors or homeowners. Dubrook is here to provide you with options and ideas to make planning your next project simple. Let Dubrook help you with the supplies you need to get the job done. Call 1-844-382-7665. Dubrook is proud to support our local communities with plants in Clarion, Du Bois, St. Mary's, Butler, Evans City, Bradford, and Meadville.
There is a difference.
Our focus has always been on you at Clarion County Community Bank. So let's talk about your needs of today and your plans for tomorrow. Let's talk if you're looking to update your home, expand your business, finance equipment, or establish a line of credit. Let's talk about making your dreams a reality at any one of our 4 locations in Clarion, New Bethlehem, Reimersburg, and Franklin. Clarion County Community Bank. There is a difference.
Brookville Equipment Corporation is a leading American manufacturer of locomotive, streetcar, and mining machinery. For over 100 years, Brookville has been a world-class manufacturer with innovation, quality engineering, product safety, and expert American craftsmanship. Every piece of equipment is designed and built entirely in our facility in Brookville, Pennsylvania. Join our team. Brookville is a family-owned business. We offer competitive wages, opportunities for growth, and outstanding benefits. Click the Now Hiring button on our website at brookvillecorp.com for current openings.
Attention, attention! Beverage Hair Victory in Brookville is hiring. If you're looking for a great place to work with a good starting wage and advancement opportunities, this may be the place for you. We have immediate openings for all shifts, including part-time and weekends. Beverage Hair Victory has a generous benefits package, including 401k and paid time off. No experience necessary. We will train you. Have experience? We will pay you more. Come join our team by applying online at beverage-air.com.
Locally owned and operated, Hager Paving of Strattonville provides a range of services: hot mix asphalt, cold patch asphalt, tar and chipping, and seal coating. Hager Paving's reputation in business is based on customer service, referrals, and your satisfaction. Serving residential, commercial, industrial, and local municipalities throughout Western Pennsylvania, exceptional service, exceptional quality. That's Hager Paving of Strattonville. Call 814-764-5080. That's 814-764-5080 for Hager Paving.
Brookville Equipment Corporation is a
We're back. Thank you, everybody, for joining us again. Mr. Wise, this question is to you. Okay. If you're elected, are you going to be fiscally conservative, spending only for the benefit of your constituents?
Am I going to be fiscally conservative, spending only for the benefit of my constituents?
That is the question, yes.
I'm that way natural. I mean, it may sound funny, but like at one speech I said, well, I'm a fiscal conservative. I'm wearing a 99-cent Goodwill shirt. Now I'm not tonight. But I mean, conservatism, being fiscally conservative is being efficient. Because if you aren't fiscally conservative, eventually you're going to find there's nothing to be fiscal about because you frittered all your money away. So yeah, no, I'll do that as a matter of principle. And as a matter of having had to spend money on taxes and had to suffer and just try to survive in this life. And things are getting harder for people, and people have less money, so you're darn right. I will be fiscally conservative, and that's a matter of my own ethics. Not just because of the constituents, but that's like ingrained in me. Yeah.
Mr. Theron.
Yes, I'm going to be fiscally conservative as I have been over the last 7.5 years. That's the reason why we have not raised your taxes. We cut your taxes. That's why we have paid your debt down, $3 million that we inherited, and you only have like $2.9 million left that you owe. There's a difference in not paying that off, and I could explain that later to you. It's good to have that. So every decision I make on what is best for the taxpayer. We've also built up the reserve fund balance, millions of dollars, and we've cut millions of dollars of waste. So yes, I'm fiscally conservative.
Mr. Fite.
Yes, I definitely would be fiscally conservative for the county with the taxpayers' money. Getting different quotes for different projects that are going to happen within the county or plan to happen. See if the possibility to kill two birds with one stone, see if that could arise and see if we can use that to our advantage. But also pay attention and making sure you're not tripping over dollars just to save pennies. Nobody likes to spend money. Nobody wants to raise taxes. I voted against raising taxes on school board. But again, you just want to make sure that you're doing everything correctly.
Mr. Brocious?
Yes, fiscally conservative. Ted said a lot there. I'm not going to repeat it all, but I don't think he did mention, though, that we reduced taxes. And I know I've said that earlier, but we actually reduced taxes 2 years ago. And you can't do that without being fiscally conservative. Thank you.
Mr. White?
Yeah, so for the sake of argument, I'm going to say that I'm going to be fiscally responsible. I've been on a school board for 6 years. We've never voted to raise taxes. Building projects that we've done, much like the county, we have a maintenance staff. We use co-stars, just the same way the county's done to do a lot of those projects. We've also been able to invest in our schools and grow programs and make things better at the same time. So yes, I will be very fiscally responsible with the taxpayer dollar.
Thank you very much. Okay, I'm going to throw a curveball, and this is for anybody who wants it, anybody and everyone, before we go back to Mr. Brocious. This is for everybody. This is a real question. Is cereal a soup?
What? Cereal.
Cereal?
Yes.
Is it a soup? Is cereal a soup?
Oh, I thought you said cereal or soup.
No.
I've never heard of it, but there could be such a thing as cereal soup, which I've never heard of.
If you leave your Raisin Bran soap long enough, it's soup.
Cereal is not soup. Soup is warm.
Taking a stand.
I just know that soup is supposed to be good food.
All right, next question for everyone.
That must have been a Gavin question.
That is not a Gavin question. I will not claim it. Okay, next very serious question for all of you. Chocolate or vanilla? This is an either or. Mr. Theron, chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Chocolate.
I'm more of a vanilla man myself.
Dark chocolate because it's healthy.
Vanilla.
We've got a split board. Okay, that was fun. Jake has another question that he wants me to ask. Are the pirates for real?
Aye, matey.
Okay.
There's always hope.
Mr. Brocious, the next question in is, How can Clarion County bring more jobs and industry to the area?
Okay, I think we've talked about this a little bit already. Trying to think of something new that we haven't already said. We mentioned grants, we mentioned Clarion County Economic Development, supporting them in their ventures. Tourism has already been mentioned, using hotel tax dollars to promote tourism. That can be used in very specific ways by the law. You can't just use it to build things. And again, talk positive about the county and work on the workforce. Workforce can be a great hindrance because if you don't have workers here, the companies are not going to come and provide the jobs.
Mr. Fine, I saw your hand first.
Sure. So before you can bring new jobs and new opportunities to the county, you have to fulfill the obligations you already have within the county first. One of the things that prospective businesses and opportunities look at when they come into the county is the unemployment rate in the county and the job openings within the county. If you can't fulfill the job openings already within the county, how is a new industry or business supposed to thrive? So once we can fulfill those openings within the county, then we can try to attract new businesses and fulfill those opportunities as well, and it'll be a domino effect and it'll start to grow itself.
Mr. Theron?
The only way you're going to fulfill all these wishes that you have is to have good, affordable housing, daycare for young people, and a low tax basis. High-speed internet would help, but if you're looking for jobs specific to a factory or whatever, you need to have good, affordable housing, and childcare is top priority.
Anybody else like to add to that? Mr. White?
Yeah, something I don't think we've really mentioned yet is I'd like to address some of the blighted properties around the county, making it more appealing to new businesses to come in. I think if someone's driving through Clarion County and they see some of these buildings that are falling apart into the ground, maybe they're going to have some second thoughts. So I think that would go a long way to not only making it more attractive to new business, but also raising property values in general to the folks that live around it.
I agree with so much of what everyone has said that I can never fit it in this time. But the other part of it is, rather than just wait to try to fix the problem we have now, we can be working on other things as well at the same time. It's called multitasking. And I think bringing in new innovative sorts of companies would be one of the solutions, because those people that work at the company might have relatives that can fill the other jobs. I'm a real high-tech person and I immerse myself in it. Those people I would seek out and talk to try to get them to come to Clarion County.
Thank you all. The next question is for Mr. Fite. Would you be in favor of allowing more Clarion County employees to unionize?
Yes, definitely. So I'm very pro-union. I've been a union member myself since age 18. Unions are not a bad thing. Everybody has this doom and gloom about them and this negative aspect on them. They're a great thing. The first object, though, is there to protect the workers. But if the employer, which would be the county government in this case, treats their workers fairly and equally and give them the correct pay that they should be receiving, there's no problem with it. Like I said, I'm very union friendly. I'm a proud union worker myself. I've been endorsed by several unions in my campaign so far. So yes, I am all for it. I have no problems with it whatsoever.
Mr. Theron?
I'm totally opposite. Labor unions had their place back in the day. We pay our people very well. We take care of people. They get health care. They get 10 sick days. They get 10 to 20 some vacation days. They get personal days. The benefits that we give the people, they do not need a union for it. All we do from unions is you get grievance after grievance after grievance, and we're going to hire lawyer after lawyer to take care of those grievances. So I am anti-union. I've been it my whole entire life because I had to deal with it when I was in the construction business.
Thank you, sir. Any other thoughts? Mr. Brocious.
As a commissioner, you cannot be in bed with the unions because we are constantly, as Ted says, battling them. They're battling the county. They're not all bad though, but they can be. So, but you have to, especially in negotiations, when you are negotiating with the unions for the new 3-year contract or whatever it is, you're there for the taxpayers. You're not there for the unions. we're representing the taxpayers and trying to get the best deal for them.
Thank you, sir. Mr. White.
So I live in a union household. Personally, the last couple of weeks of my life, I've been very thankful for the excellent union health care that we get through being in a union household. But furthermore, unions are good for county and local governments because they protect the employees from political BS that can go on from one election to the next. So yes, absolutely, I would support anybody that wants to unionize, and I'd do everything I could to protect your right to do that.
Mr. Wise, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I do. I've never worked for a union. I think in some ways unions are a thing of the past, but yes, teachers' unions and things can supply excellent benefits. But the thing is, that comes at a price. I'm not sure that Clarion County can afford that price with all the more money that we do have. But I do think that the best thing to do is to treat the employees right and give them what they expect out of the workplace, and then you aren't going to have this desire to have a union because you're going to have a great job.
Do I get a rebuttal to that in the bed with unions statement?
If you'd like, yes, go ahead.
So to the point of in the bed with unions, there's a difference between being on their side and doing what's right for the workers. The unions are there to protect the workers. They're not there to take their taxpayers' money. They're there to do the right thing and protect the workers. And if they're protecting the workers, why shouldn't they have that? But again, I will definitely pro-union and more than happy to hear any unionized negotiations.
And can I make a comment? Protect the workers from what? We're not doing anything bad to the workers.
Okay, I hear what you're saying, but the rules of the game, we need to move on. Okay. Let's see. I believe this next question is for you, Mr. Theron.
That's right.
How would you prioritize spending and identify areas where cuts could be made without negatively impacting the county's services?
I've been doing that for 7 years. There's one item that sticks out. We used to use this building or rent this building right here for the probation offices. I believe our total cost was around $50,000 a year. I utilized co-stars and our own employees. Now the probation and the courtroom for magistrate is down in the old and golden dawn. So the money that we've saved from that over the past years has more than saved us money, and that money will be saved for years to come in the future. The same as the towers that we built for the 911 and the broadband. We were renting towers at $35,000 a pop. So we put our own towers up. We saved that money for the next 30 years. Folks, you're looking at what we've done in the past 7 years, millions and millions of dollars that we have saved the taxpayer because we used our head and we thought it out and did the right thing.
Would anybody like to add anything to that? Mr. White?
Sure. So definitely talking with the different department heads and different employees and see where their stance are, a couple different things. If they need an upgrade to a system that might be more efficient and could save them, 3 or 4 hours a day doing a certain task, well, at the end of the year, that's going to save you hundreds of hours. So in turn, that would save the county money after your initial investment of a new program, a new software, a new piece of machinery.
Mr. Wise.
Yeah, I'm actually on board with the things that the commissioners have done as far as acquiring property rather than renting it. That's the sort of thing that can get out of hand, but I think it's very wise to do that. But I think efficiency is a big way to save money, and like I said, I want to, first of all, talk to every single county employee that I haven't already talked to find out how to make their workplace more efficient and that their job can be done better. And that's a good way to save money, too.
Mr. Brocious.
Rentals to ownership, which already been mentioned. Also, maintenance workers, maintenance staff. When Ted came on board, this was something he pushed, and the other two agreed with him. We've saved a ton of money over the years with county workers doing a lot of the maintenance, and not just cleaning, but actual building things. Instead of, because you can get into prevailing wage and everything else real quickly with our projects.
Mr. White.
So, of course, this idea of building with maintenance workers and using co-stars and whatnot I mentioned earlier, like I totally support that. But I'm also at a point where I don't know how much further we can cut the county budget that hasn't been cut already over the last 7 years. The thing that I'm thinking about right now, is if you look at the sheriff's department's budget, for example, it was $682,000 before the incumbents took office. It's $614. I'm a Democrat sitting here saying that we have as a county defunded the police here, basically. Like that's a problem.
Sir. I think we got everybody on that one, right?
I don't know, but that was quite a remark made there. I mean, that's not all the facts, but go ahead.
All right, thank you. Mr. White, this actual question that I just pulled out of the box is for you. It says, Braxton, you actively campaigned for John Fetterman. What of his policies do you want to implement here?
So I am so proud to have supported John Fetterman when he ran for Senate. I consider him a friend. I've known John for a very long time. John's doing great, by the way. I just was down in Pittsburgh with him about 2 weeks ago. Sounded great, looked great. He's going to do a lot of great things for Pennsylvania. The thing about John and what he did down in Braddock, if you go around there, you see a lot of the same kind of problems that we have here in Clarion County. You're talking about things like blighted properties. You're talking about a community that is desperate for investment, and he did that. He was willing to get his hands dirty to do that, and that's the kind of leader that I hope to be. I want to get my hands dirty. I want to be involved in this community. I'm so happy to have supported him.
Thank you. Any thoughts, Mr. Fight?
Sure. So regardless of the party or person, they're going to implement items that people like and dislike, and that's just the nature of politics here. So I definitely would like to take a more in-depth look of the policies that he's introduced, that have passed, and his ideas, and see what could be applicable to the county. Because some things that are not applicable to Clarion County, but I'm sure there might be a thing or two that we could take and tweak or adjust to fit the county better.
Mr. Brocious.
John Fetterman does not have the values of Clarion County. That was proven in the election.
Any other thoughts?
You don't want to hear my comment on John Fetterman.
Mr. Wise, anything?
Yeah, I didn't vote for Fetterman. I'm not left-wing in any way. But, you know, whoever's in power at a state and a federal level, we do have to work with them, and we have to have a dialogue. And what we can get out of the state or out of the federal government that comes back to us in the form of tax dollars we sent to them, by God, we should be polite, and we should try to get what we can get and keep our own opinions to ourselves in that respect.
Thank you, sir. Okay, the final question is for you, Mr. Wise. What is your experience with preparing and/or authorizing budgets?
Absolutely none, except like home budgets and budgets with when I did entrepreneurial work in my business. I did that. And as a commissioner, I don't think you have to do, maybe I'm wrong, I don't think you have to do every single part of that. You do have accounting, and you do have auditors, and you do have state oversight, which dictates how you deal with those things. That's something I would have to learn, but I'm a pretty quick learner. And considering my expertise in the highly technical fields that I do, where I literally have to keep numbers and figures and algorithms and computer programs all in my head, I don't think that that's going to be a big problem for me. As a matter of fact, I'm kind of OCD when it comes to technical things, and that's just another sort of thing. I really love finances and figured out how much money I'm going to make on stocks in my own life, so I don't think that's going to be a problem for me at all.
Thank you, sir. Any other thoughts on that, Mr. Brocious?
Auditors don't have anything to do with the budget. They come after the fact. I've already worked through, I don't know how many budgets at this point, I guess 11, and went through item by item by item with the fiscal department on those budgets and making decisions on those. Even before I was commissioner, I was the treasurer at my church, and I still remain treasurer at my church to this day.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Theron? Oh, Mr. Fine.
Sure. So I have experience on the AC Valley School Board dealing with budget items and trying to be fiscally responsible there, trying to stay within terms, purchase stuff that's necessary, and try and fund all the departments within the school district as well. I've also had experience on the Career Center Board with budget items and approving or disapproving of items that would help better the Career Center, help better the students that we are producing at the end of their 4 years there. I also have experience in dealing with hundreds of different fairs and raceways across the tri-state area, anywhere from a $10,000 contract up to a $100,000 contract.
Mr. Theron.
Yeah, I did 8 years on the school board. You have a business manager that does your budget. I did 8 years on the VOTEC board. You have a business manager that does your budget. I did 40 years in business and self-employment. You have your own budgets. You budget every house that you build. It's nothing like the budgeting work we have to do at the county. We are hands-on. You see every dollar. If you don't, your dollars are going out the window. So yes, you have to be a budget expert at the county of Clarion, or you're going to fail.
Mr. White, do you have something you want to add?
Yeah, so I've been on the finance committee at the Clarion Area School Board for the last 4 years, and I've been involved with every budget that we have put together. And every time those come up, whether it's there, whether it's been at the Career Center, if you're not looking those things over, if you're not saying, I'm not sure if this is the right time or this is the right thing to cut, or if you're not saying, maybe we can do something better over here and spend a little bit less, then you're not being fiscally responsible.
Thank you, gentlemen. We're going to pause for our final commercial break and come back for closing arguments.
No matter how cold it is outside, you can keep warm and toasty inside with a built-in-the-USA super efficient furnace from Luton's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Affordable, quiet, and reliable. You can count on your furnace from Luton's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Throughout West Central Pennsylvania, people are losing their glasses. Well, they haven't really lost them. They just don't need them anymore. Thanks to the amazing LASIK surgeons at Laurel Eye Clinic. Call Laurel Eye Clinic and schedule your free consultation.
With so much to protect each day, Eric Schick Insurance and Financial Services is here to help you find the right coverage that fits your life. Call 814-275-2210 to learn more.
Hi, my name is Jason, and welcome to Sweet Basil. Come on in.
You can afford a gorgeous, custom-designed hardwood Kale's Kitchen for a lot less than you'd pay at a DIY store. Go to FactoryDirectKitchens.net. At Kale's, there are never middleman markups or hidden charges that can add 40%. Go to FactoryDirectKitchens.net. That's FactoryDirectKitchens.net.
No matter.
We're back. Thank you all for joining us. Thanks for being here in person. Thanks for joining us online. We are now going to turn the time over to the candidates for their closing statements, beginning with Commissioner Brushes.
Thanks to EYT Media and everyone listening tonight. Now, to recap, this is a primary election, May 16th. Republicans vote for Republican candidates, Democrats vote for Democratic candidates. Republicans, I'm talking to you. I will be number one on your ballot. Moving forward, I will continue to be interested in your concerns, continue to support the economic growth that we've been having. There are jobs everywhere to be filled right now. I will continue to speak positively about our future, and no one will want to move here if all they hear are the naysayers. I will continue to keep county spending under budget. That is how we were able to reduce county taxes a couple years ago. I will continue to stand up for the best interests of county residents with wisdom and experience, like I did in my opposition to the tolling of the I-80 bridges, standing up for the people of our area having to pay every time they cross a bridge over by Knox. I will continue to represent Clarion County with integrity throughout the region and the Commonwealth. I will be fair to county employees, yet strict when necessary, as I feel the commissioners are the buffer or the link between county government and the taxpayers. To be honest with you, I like this job, and I like the challenges. You can't make everyone happy in this job, though, and I understand that. But I will use my knowledge and experience to help someone or to tell them, no, I can't help you. Honest, steady, conservative leadership, and I will work with whoever the other two victorious candidates are for the betterment of Clarion County. So Republicans, I am asking for your continued support. Wayne Brocious for Commissioner. God bless you all. God bless Clarion County.
Thank you very much. Mr. Fight.
I may not have a decade of experience as a county commissioner, but none of my opponents had experience as a county commissioner before they were being elected either. Sometimes it takes a fresh set of eyes without a thick history, eyes free from political pressures, to clearly see the perspective of our next generations. Everyone here, young and old, has a voice, and I fight for the voices that are often overlooked. I've never needed an impressive title to help our community. I'm not even 30, but I'm invested. As you can see from my current positions on the school board, the Career Center board, and volunteering in our local 4-H groups, I am invested. Clarion County is a great place to become Clarion County is a great place and can become a greater place with the right leadership in office. We can all build on the great things our communities embody, and that's where I do have experience. Before you can build anything, you need an agreement on the plan to move forward. I offer a lifetime of being involved with a family business that has signed, executed, and completed thousands of contracts across the tri-state area. Adhering to numerous state and federal guidelines to keep schools within the law while thinking outside of the box to keep them successful. I've had the pleasure of working on monumental construction projects in and around the county. I want to continue to build and fix on what's in place. Just because we are at a fork in the road does not mean it's a bad thing. Sometimes it takes change to make change happen. So please, change to the good fight and vote Brady Fight on May 16th, number 4 on the Republican primary ballot.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Theron.
Thank you all for coming tonight. I hope you found out what that change is that Brady just talked about. And I hope you also decided, everybody has 2 votes for commissioner. I hope you decided who your second one was. You can say everything. You can promise some things, but can you deliver anything? I can, I have, and I will. I want to tell you about one more thing that I dug up in this county that saved you so far almost $1 million, and it's going to go on forever as long as somebody else doesn't change it. It's the retirement fund in Clarion County. When I was looking at it here about my 2nd or 3rd month into this job, I noticed that there was a lot of employees dumping 17% into the retirement fund. I couldn't figure out why. Why are you taking almost 20% of what you make, putting it into the retirement fund? Well, after I dug around and found out, the county was paying you 5.5% interest on that money when you could only get 0.25% at the bank. So these people were all using the county retirement system that you pay for their own personal gains. And I got it stopped. We lowered it to the lowest possible rate allowed by law, and in the last 6 years, it has saved close to $1 million. Every year that it goes on the way it is will save you $180,000 to $200,000. That's what you have to be able to do, is discover where the fraud is, the corruption, whatever it is, and fix it. And I have done that for the last 7 years. If you want to continue that, vote for me. If you want to go back to the old way, vote for somebody else. But I'm here to do the job.
Thank you, sir. Mr. White.
Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. Thank you to Explore Clarion for hosting and taking the time to support an important cause like National Night Out. If you want to know more about our campaign, you can go to exploreClarion.com. I often talk about the upbringing I had with my great-grandparents, and it's because you can't help but see things just a little bit differently when your parental units came of age during the Great Depression. Along with saving everything, literally everything, just in case we might need it later. I also learned values like decency, patriotism, lifting up your neighbor when they need help, working hard, treating your wife as your partner in everything, and simply doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do. These aren't partisan or political ideas, and they shouldn't be. My values and the values that other people on this stage hold are the roots that make us all who we are. And they're going to inform the decisions that we make as leaders. My values explain why I'm doing this, why I'm running for county commissioner. I'm doing this for the retired nurse in Reimersburg who's unexpectedly raising her grandchildren after their mom and dad disappeared. I'm doing this so the long-time Main Street business owners who have invested more time and money into our communities than we can possibly imagine have a local government which returns the favor and works to make them walkable again. I'm doing this because we deserve to live in safe communities with well-paid, well-trained, and well-respected law enforcement officers. I'm doing this because people deserve to have the security to know when they dial 911 and call for help, it's going to get there on time to save their lives. I'm doing this to create opportunity for our kids so when they grow up, they can have a home here too. We have so many important decisions to make to deliver on these ideas. When you vote on May 16th and again on November 7th, please cast your ballot for me, Braxton White.
Thank you, Mr. White. Mr. Wise, the time is yours.
Yeah, I've heard so many times over the years people say, why don't regular people run for office? Why do they have to be politicians? Why do they have to do this, do that? Everyone that knows me, I'm a very regular person. I have a critical job that I've been doing 35 years. I'm literally irreplaceable. They want me to work at it till I'm dead. Because I know what I'm doing. I immerse myself in things and I become an expert. I'm really good at human relations. I'm extremely conscientious. I have tenacity. I'm the guy that goes out in the middle of the night freezing with a sled, dragging it 2 miles to try to fix a 911 site. Like camping out, doing this, doing that, going into situations where people are on the verge of tears because their whole communication system's gone and it's all awash, and I'm the one responsible. I'm a very responsible person, and I love that job. But you know, something told me that I need to step up to the plate as a citizen who already has a good job, who already has a purpose in life, to try to help improve the county. Not elect me to go to some old way, because there's nothing old about me. I'm very high tech and I'm very forward thinking. And we're in the 21st century, friends. Think about it. I'm very conservative. I have conservative values, and a lot of what makes Clarion wonderful is gonna stay. But you know what? I wanna shed a little bit more light in this county, and I wanna encourage more growth and opportunity towards a brighter future. And part of that's technology. And I'm a technology expert. And like I said, it's all gonna change anyways, because the world's changing, your economy's changing, your dollar bill's gonna change into a digit. And that's something else I've been acing for over 13 years now, immersing myself in that. I wanna immerse myself in Clarion County. Number 2 in the ballot, be smart, vote wise.
Thank you very much. Can you join me in thanking our candidates tonight? Thank you, gentlemen. Want to thank you all for joining us online. Remember that the proceeds tonight are going to the National Night Out here in Clarion. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. And with that, I will bid you a good night. Thank you all.